family setting, also talk about things that could pose danger to your kids from quite an early age. Socialize them properly so that they know what not to do and how to protect themselves from any harm.
We often hear President Advocate Duma Boko talking about the value of durable partnerships, whether it's in business, whether it's in the private sector, whether even across the public-private partnerships. Where are you as the police service in terms of fostering the essence of these durable partnerships? Whether under the police service or even by extension, where are you there?
Partnerships is the way to go. You can't go wrong with partnerships. You can't go far as a lone hunter out there. We need each other. And we have been, like I'm saying, partnering with the social structures. We have sister organizations, Botswana Defense Force. We are strong with them in terms of dealing with crime because they are quite a large faculty where they are. We have other law enforcement agencies that also help us, that is in partnership with us to deal with crime. And we cannot ignore them. We can also not ignore the representations of individuals working on the street that are not necessarily affiliated to any sector. That is why at every moment that we call people to us to say, in whatever way setting that you are, please contribute.
Let's talk about the infrastructure, whether it's tangible or otherwise. Units within the police service, to address certain issues. Child-friendly services. It's a very sensitive issue. How do you deal with issues like that?
I think child-friendly center are a beautiful development, and we wish to have more, and we are hoping to have more because in partnership with the community, they're going to get us there. We can't underestimate the level of participation of our community. They have recently partnered with us to do refurbishing of our police stations. Some of the areas that are refurbishing are or setting up child-friendly centers. We cannot underestimate the effect that setting up those centers has had. People have come out, children have come out, children walk in to talk about their issues because it's a child-friendly space. It's a safe space for anyone to come and talk to the police about. So we are going to have a lot more of those funds permitting, but I know Botswana are going to be supporting us in that endeavor. And also, we have outfits such as anti-stock theft branch, which is an indication of our dedication towards that area. We want to prevent crime. We have an outfit, cyber branch. We are saying we want to concentrate also on the cyber space and find out what crimes are there, protect people, protect Botswana from cyber crime. So I can mention so many others that came lately in the past maybe 5-6 years. So that is a showcase of the dedication that we want to take in dealing with all crimes.
And of course, talk about all crimes. You mentioned safe spaces. That is an integral aspect of even, providing that service that you provide. So in terms of maybe just talking about GBV, for instance, there's so many reports there, but also there are aspects or reports whether they go unreported or otherwise. In terms of reports, they've been abused in some way or another. I want to believe and in the past gender-based violence for fear of victimization.
I think the child-friendly center is open to everyone. It might say child-friendly center, but it's just a center. Prior to setting up the centers, we established a child and gender protection branch. So the gender is all-encompassing. It opened up people to look at the police and say, there's a place where we can go. There's a whole branch that is going to go and receive us. And I need to applaud Botswana men for coming out. They're coming out. They're standing up for their rights, particularly in terms of protection of their children and custody of their children. Men are not just sitting on the sidelines and watch themselves suffer as they lose custody of the children, as they see that they are denied access to their children. So the space also provides for that. Men are coming up, and I would encourage them to come forth and get help, because some of the crimes that we see, they're just emanating from the root cause being, I'm not being listened to as a man. Can somebody listen to me, hear me? I just need to be heard. Yeah.
Advocate Duma Boko o gorogile gone mo GICC mikidimela jalo gone gore mo gorogong ya gagwe jana mo nakong ya gompeno thulaganyo yone ya the National Conference on Crime Prevention will get underway mo metsotsong e sa hediseng pelo mme ritse gone gore ke sengwe se leng gore re solohetse go le gontsi re beletse jaaka gone gore mo puisanong ya rona le me Cynthia Sitilo tlhalose jalo gone gore go gontsi mo ileng gore gongwe re ka solohela mo tsela gompeno dikgang tse leng gore ditabo di buisiwa gongwe pele ga re wetsa puisano ya rona me Sitilo re tse gone gore
Mr. President, kindly take your seat. You may now be seated, ladies and gentlemen. Botswana Police Band, your artistry and professionalism continue to inspire pride and patriotism, adding a profound sense of dignity to this occasion. We appreciate you for your distinguished performance of the national anthem, Reale Boga, Botswana Police Band, Le Kamoso, Le Kamosomo. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly allow me to request to the stage Reverend Mosousimane to deliver the sermonette. Reverend Mosousimane is the Synod Secretary for United Congregational Church of Southern Africa, UCCSA, Botswana. Reverend Simane.
The Apostle Paul, in all his epistles in the New Testament from the holy books of the Christian community, starts most of his epistles with this salutation: grace and peace to you from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ, which simply means, before I say anything, I declare God's blessings on you. Your Excellency, President Advocate Duma Boko, honorable ministers, all dignitaries here present, ladies and gentlemen, before I can say anything, grace and peace to you from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Before I pray, allow me to read with you Isaiah 60 verse 1, which is a call to the people of God to rise up and shine as a beacon of light and hope after a period of war and darkness. A passage that signifies the dawn of a new era of God's glory and salvation and restoration upon his people. It reads as follows: Arise, shine, for the light of the Lord has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. Isaiah 60, verse 1. In a country devastated and bedeviled by different forms of crime, including white-collar crime, we give Botswana this message of hope. Arise and shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you, the beautiful Republic of Botswana. In a country where it is no longer safe to take a walk or jog as it used to be in the bygone years, unless you do so as a group. In a country where some people are so rich that even their rubbish bins are constipated with food leftovers, while others are so poor that they can even sell their souls for a piece of coin, even if it means committing crime, we must, as we gather here today, see ourselves as agents of change for Botswana to rise and shine against all odds. Therefore, as we engage in all deliberations of this conference, may we find encouragement in this call to rise up and shine as a beacon of light and hope against the dark cloud of crime in this great republic. Remember this at all times. Light is stronger than darkness. Love is stronger than hate. In the words of Martin Luther King Jr., darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Botswana, arise and shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. Come, let us pray. God of grace and love, we thank you for the gift of life and all the blessings that come with this gift. We thank you for the privilege of being counted among the living in the land of the living. Help us as we gather together this week, today and tomorrow, to make the best use of today and the week. Bless the proceedings of the day and our efforts to build a crime-free Botswana. Thank you, dear Lord, for this great day and for this great republic and her people. God bless Botswana. Guard her people, guide her leaders, and give her peace. For Jesus Christ's sake, amen.
Thank you, Reverend Mosousimane, for uplifting us in prayer this morning. Ke mokopela le khofi batsadi. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly allow me to begin by recognizing the esteemed presence of Advocate Duma Boko, President of the Republic of Botswana. Good morning, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. With your leave, Mr. President, we are now getting the program underway. A warm welcome, esteemed guests, representatives from South African Police Service and Zimbabwe Police Service, and Zimbabwe Republic Police, I beg your pardon, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, a good Wednesday morning to you all. Today, we unite here at Gaborone International Convention Center for the official opening of the two-day National Conference on Crime Prevention, a conference that brings under one roof diverse stakeholders to explore strategies essential for a unified approach for crime prevention. And this event is a testament to our shared responsibility in fostering a safer society. May I also take this opportunity to remind you that this is a live event being broadcast on Botswana television, as well as Botswana Police Service and BW government Facebook pages, along with other various social media platforms. I am Superintendent Celebatso Moketsi, your Director of Ceremonies for this morning, and I will be co-hosting alongside Khao Nadintwe, and it is our honor to serve as your Director of Ceremonies. Mr. President, thank you very much for gracing us with your presence this morning. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, botsadi jo botlotlagang jaaka go setsa go tlhalositswe ke gaona dintwe mme ke tlabe ke tshwaraganetse tiro ena mo mosong wa gompieko le morwarre Superintendent Selebatso Moketsi. What an incredible honor it is to be trusted with this task. Now, mo sebakeng se re leng mo go sone ba gaetsho pele ga re ka gope kgakala ke tla kopa go laletsa Re Mokholele Olengore. He is the Deputy District Commissioner, Gaborone Region, and Senior Assistant Commissioner of Police, Dr. Babuluki Helen Tumediso, Director of Forensic Science Services Branch, Khotla gore itsisi ba imbarna ba tlotla. Ke tla kopa gore re mohele gofi jaaka a tla ba re buisa.
Thank you, MC or MCs. Mr. President and distinguished guests, good morning. I'm happy this morning to introduce to you guests in this location. We have in our midst the President of the Republic of Botswana, Advocate Duma Boko. Mr. President, we also have in our midst His Lordship, the Chief Justice Gaola Pelwe Ketlogetse. We have Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Ditapelo Korapetse, the Minister for State President, Honorable Moeti Mohosa. We have in our midst also the host, Commissioner of Police, Mayor Dynamo Marate. We have honorable ministers and also assistant ministers, and then permanent secretary to the president, Mayor Emma Pelwe is in our midst also. We have Attorney General Mayor Marco Abraham in our midst. Several permanent secretaries and deputy permanent secretaries are here with us. Heads of security organs, heads of parastatals, regional partners, senior police officers, and then crime prevention district and station chairperson and secretaries, amongst them Renale Mahosi. We have the entire police force. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Musipidi Mokolale, the Deputy District Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the warm introduction and for ensuring that we properly recognize our esteemed, distinguished guest this morning, as well as to observe a protocol. Our first speaker is a leader who has dedicated her career to upholding justice and ensuring safety of our communities. Under her leadership, we continue to see progressive strategies that strengthen law enforcement and community engagement. To officially welcome us and set the tone for this crucial gathering, I would now like to invite Commissioner of Police, Commissioner Diana Marate, to deliver the welcome remarks. May we please give her a thunderous round of applause as she graces the podium.
Ke a leboga batsamaisa tiro me ke leboge moruti yo re simolleditse letsatsi le letona le ka thapelo ke be in a special way ba gaetsho ke lemoge mongame mototegi tautona wa la ha tshele Advocate Duma Boko ba gaetsho a re mo lemogeng rotlhe ka boitumelo. Your Lordship, Chief Justice of the Republic of Botswana, Mongame Gao Lapelo ke togetswe, o na le monna o ha Judge Moroka, who is one of the panelists in the subsequent session that would follow. Ke lemoga gape the Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Dithapelo Korapetse, ga ke a bona leader of the opposition amongst us, ke Tote Mongame, the Minister for State President, Honorable Moeti Mohasa, Bembame, all honorable ministers and assistant ministers, ke a le bona ke le tutile, Chairperson ya ntlo ya dikgosi, Kgosi Malope the second, Bembame batutegi magosi otlhe a leng hano, magosana, ba rona ba bontsi le mbone ba dula ditilo ba di-cluster mo metseng ya rona yotlhe, ke a le lemoga batho ba botlhokwa. Your Worship, Honorable Mayor Motlaleng, Permanent Secretary to the President, Mayor Emapelo Itetse, and your Deputy, Mayor Bukole, all Permanent Secretaries, Head of Parastatals, Heads of NGOs, all partners, regional partners, Barabaraka Lebone Bote, President's advisors, Babalinteng, the heads of security organs of this country, Deputy Commander Selo and Commissioner Mugento, representative of SADC, Mayor Gumede, representatives from the Zimbabwe Republic Police, President of Business Botswana, Re Neo Ngwaku, it's one of the panelists. Baruti botlhe ba re gogang ka bone mo dikomiting tse tsa twantsho borukutlhi ba ba leng teng gano. Senior management of the Botswana Police Service, led by my 3 deputies, ba ba leng teng ha. All government officials, batho ba botlhokwa, maloko a twantsho borukutlhi, conference participants, members of the Fourth Estate, invited guests, batho ba botlhokwa go heta, people who define my existence and relevance as the Commissioner of Botswana Police. Mapodisi otlhe, ke a le bona bo ngwanaka le bant. Good morning to you all. Let me, Director of Ceremonies, say it is a great pleasure for me to welcome you to this gathering for a 2-day national conference on crime prevention. Your attendance here today is indicative of the importance you attach to issues of public security. I truly appreciate each one of you for honoring this event. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to recognize in a special way in our midst the presence of the Republic of Botswana, Advocate Duma Boko. Mr. President, as the Botswana Police Service, we recognize and appreciate your leadership and commit to prioritize national issues that you have already presented before all of us. Whilst the current economic outlook presents enormous challenges for delivering national promises, we remain grateful for the government's commitment to resourcing the Botswana Police Service. It is therefore our strong and steadfast intention to do everything in our power to optimize the utilization of the resources at our disposal to strengthen the delivery of our mandate. Mr. President, it would be seriously remiss of me if I did not state that your stewardship and direct call on all of us under your command to deliver on government promise in the country development agenda is the driving force behind our success in all that we put our efforts into. To this end, we recommit to approach our business with the required agility, vitality, and boldness in order to achieve effective service delivery in terms of ensuring the security and welfare of Botswana, including smooth facilitation of investment and job opportunities. Director of Ceremonies, Botswana Police Service, as mandated under the Police Act Cap 2101 of the laws of Botswana, is to ensure public safety and security. Acknowledges that this is a duty. We acknowledge that this is not a duty that we can perform in isolation. Acknowledging that crime is a national security threat that has devastating impact on society in general, the Botswana Police has embraced a multi-sectoral approach in which our various community stakeholders collaborate in identifying the local crime issues, develop solutions, and implement preventative measures to ensure their safety. This goes to validate our organizational mission, which spells that we will provide a professional policing service in partnership with the community. Ke dumela gore ra iteka bembame le ha se ka bophara la bona sabe sa Botswana policy in the policing agenda worldwide. Bagaetsho Police Partnership have transformed from crime prevention in 1984 to community policing in 2003 and cluster policing in 2008. These partnerships are aimed at reducing crime and the fear of crime through community involvement, mostly under the leadership of Bemba Rona Dikgosi. Distinguished audience, it is worth noting that as of December 2024, there were 774 active community policing clusters nationally, compared to 750 in 2023. This is a commendable development because we need more clusters for wider coverage and maximum impact. These clusters are now also able to embrace and take into consideration the role of the youth who are highly involved as perpetrators and victims of crime at the same time. But in prioritizing the safety of our people, we have convened under this roof today with the various crime prevention stakeholders, including representatives from clusters, policing experts, members of the academia, the youth, Mepato, Bubirwa, the business community, parastatals, public and private organizations, and regionally, SADC is represented here. Zimbabwe Police is also among us. The objective of this conference, which is convened under the theme, open quote, forging collaborative pathways towards safer communities, close quote, are amongst others to help participants to comprehend the country's crime landscape with a view to developing effective crime prevention solutions, provide a platform for sharing successful case studies and best practices from various community clusters, explore strategies for collaboration among various stakeholders in enhancing community safety and security. The highly interactive session features experts' presentations and experience sharing, panel and roundtable discussions, and case studies on police partnerships. Some of the key topics to be interrogated include inter alia, crime trends, policy strategies and initiatives, best approaches to crime prevention, strengthening partnerships, the role of the courts in crime prevention, and mental health in relation to crime. The diversity of the agenda is meant to offer an opportunity for comprehensive deliberations, focusing on both emerging domestic and transnational organized crime, especially considering the dynamic and cross-border implications of contemporary crime. It should be noted that rapid advances in technology presents viable opportunities for both development and offending, making policy in the cyberspace even more challenging. Hence, a direct call on law enforcement to continually strategize and capacitate so that we are able to come up with robust solutions to address the criminal trends. This, Bagaetso, is an expensive exercise that requires the highest level of commitment from government in order to adequately resource Botswana Police to respond accordingly in time to all these ills that we see all over the world. This forum, therefore, provides a comprehensive platform for strengthening police partnership at both local and regional. To this end, we are confident to deliver on engaging and interesting session. It will be interesting to attend some of the sessions that would follow after the official opening, so that you are able to appreciate the views of those that we work with. Botswana Police, we appreciate feedback. That is why we have a forum like this. We believe that continuous improvement, continuous feedback is our greatest strength that will continue to propel us even to do more. Director of Ceremony, let me take this opportunity to appraise the conference and Botswana at large on general crime in Botswana. According to crime statistical analysis, crime remains relatively manageable in this country, as affirmed by general reductions recorded in crime. In 2024, we realized an 8% reduction in total crime, having recorded a total of 146,529 cases as compared to 159,680 cases in 2003. This indicates a downward trend. There is need for continuous engagement to refine our efforts, not just to aim for statistical reductions, but to also demonstrate a reduction in the fear of crime and reinforcement of public assurance and public trust in the police service. Botswana must reiterate that we remain grateful for the unrelenting support we continue to receive from government through the able leadership and guidance of our President in the discharge of our mandate. We therefore commit to be intentional and deliberate in our crime management strategy and prioritize the safety of all people living in Botswana. When Mr. President was addressing us during the launch of Operation Pabalesego in December 2024, he underscored the fact that Botswana live in fear of crime and therefore implored us to come up with initiatives and strategies that are geared towards guaranteeing the security of our people at all times. This conference is therefore one of our many initiatives intended to solicit ideas and explore strategies for collaboration among various stakeholders in enhancing community safety. Botswana Police Service has in its roadmap adopted "Let the Voice of the Customer Lead Us" as our service pledge, which goes to demonstrate our commitment to putting the customer first. We recognize that it is imperative to depart from the traditional policy methods and practices and instead embrace new and relevant ways of policing the current era, whilst prioritizing the voice of the customer in order to remain relevant in our law enforcement efforts. Mr. President, as I conclude my remarks, let me once again warmly welcome you and the dignitaries to the National Crime Prevention Conference organized by the Botswana Police Service in collaboration with our stakeholders. It is my ardent hope and wish that this conference presents a platform where we can dialogue on crime prevention and effective policing, appreciate and share experiences, as well as create a bigger platform for stakeholder consultation and participation. Bagaetsho mongame tautona ke leboga thata beng ba me dikgosi ba le leng ha maloko a di-cluster ba ba tswang mo lehatsheng le lotlhe. The youth population is represented here by the youth leaders tsa lehatshe le. We have ensured that we go all over this country. Farmers, committees, tsa balemi, they are represented here. Maloko othe dikgosi go tswa ko box speeds go a go ema ko Godikwa all over go a go tsena ko Bobirwa ko Semolale ko Ramatlabama. The leadership is all in this house. We have also embraced the attendance of the academia, because policing is dynamic. You can't remain the same and be relevant. So we need to be continuously tapping from those who are constantly researching in this particular area and see how we can serve our population better. Thank you for making it to this conference. Honorable ministers, botsadi bothe bemba mi dikgosi ke ikobile a re tholeng re buisana for these 2 days. By the end of this conference, we should have come up with implementable solutions of what we are going to do as a nation. Maker ke a le leboga a modimo tholo le ha gare ga rona ke a leboga bagaetso.
Commissioner of Police, Commissioner Diana Marate Rahuleboga, thata re lebile one maitlamo le boeteledipele ba gago mo go berekeng le setšhaba ka kakaretso bogolo jang mo go sireletseng setšhaba. Truly, at the heart of crime prevention lies strong leadership and a clear vision, and that is what you embody, Marona. Ke tla kopa gore re mo hele go file lengwe in appreciation of her welcome remarks. Bagaetsho pele ga re tswela ke tla kopa go lemoga boleng teng ba chairperson of ntlo ya dikgosi Kgosi Malope wa bobedi. Mo sebakeng se re le mo go sone bagaetsho re tla tsa molotsana ka Botswana Police Band e re simoletse letsatsi ka bokgabane. I'd now like to indulge you in the melodies once again. kgopela lekgofi batsadi ba sale ba re tshegeditse go tswa mo mosong. Botswana Police Band, your dedication and musical mastery continue to enhance our national events with dignity and prestige. Ra le leboga Botswana Police Band le ka moso mo. The Botswana Police Band has set the stage for our guest of honor. Esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor and privilege that I request Advocate Duma Boko, President of the Republic of Botswana, to approach the podium to deliver the keynote address. Mr. President, kindly rise as Mr. President makes his way to the stage.
Thank you very much. The Director of Proceedings, I'm going to take a bit of time to acknowledge as many of the people here as I possibly can. I recognize my Lord, the Chief Justice of the Republic, Justice Kgaolapelwe Ketlogetso, and accompanying him is another judge of the High Court, I am struggling to find a way of mentioning him, admonishing myself against saying certain things. He was my president many years ago in the Student Representative Council of the University of Botswana. And so I call him most of the time veteran or time-tested. Justice Lot Moroka, ladies and gentlemen. I recognize the Speaker of our Parliament, the young and dynamic, the inimitable Ditapelo Rapid. Recognize him warmly. His institution has been under fire lately, no less from my direction, trying to force a debate about certain things. Recognize the Minister for State President, Mweti Mohasa. Accompanying him are other ministers of this eminent republic. I see them here. I acknowledge them gratefully. I see our host, the Commissioner of Police, Mayor Diana Marat. And I want to say to you that when I took over as president, there were so many voices and views that I was bombarded with. And they said, you did not appoint her, so fire her and fire others as well. And I indicated to all of you that it's about merit. It is not about filiation or affiliation. just merit. We are a meritocracy. Doesn't matter whether I appointed you or I did not. It matters whether you serve with distinction, with commitment, and with merit. And so I recognize her. And even long after I had started work, I remember she called me in distress because the voices calling for her sacking were growing even louder. She was frustrated, and I gave her my assurance. It is still about merit, nothing else. And you see, when it comes to merit, I don't have to like you. You don't have to like me. We don't have to like each other. The objective metrics of assessment are clear. It's about merit. And so far she has, Memarate, shown admirable merit, and I appreciate her. The traditional leadership, members of Nkuyari Khosi, under the stewardship of Re Khosi Malope II, I recognize you. I also acknowledge your charges, your fellow Dikhosi here with us today. The mayor of the city of Gaborone is here. I saw him and I greet him too. The permanent secretary in the presidency, Mepelwe is here with her deputy, Mebo Kole, who was actually my classmate, I think at secondary school, at Madiba Secondary School. I don't know how she got there. But she was also my classmate at the University of Botswana at law school. But it's about merit. I recognize all the permanent secretaries who are here. I see the Director of Public Prosecutions is here as well. I think she was my student at the university. It's about merit. I recognize all directors, all head of parastatals. I see some of them as I look around. I welcome you. The Commissioner of Prisons with his entourage is here. The advisors to the President. The President has advisors. So sometimes when he goes off tangent, blame the advisors. I see a few of them here. One of them is a recently appointed legal advisor to the President. Brilliant lawyer, sharp. And when you're a lawyer and sometimes you have to take decisions on the law, you need somebody to challenge you, to push hard against your own entrenched positions, bang his head against yours, so that when you take decisions, you have reflected seriously. My noble and learned friend, Buingoto Gabriel Tote, I acknowledge him. And I acknowledge all the advisors who are here. I recognize members of the police service. When I was a lecturer at the university, I taught many of them. I don't see them here. I think they've either retired, gone into farming, or they are now big shots somewhere. But I taught many of them and I interacted with them, and I used to be invited to the police college to share some experiences. So I've worked with the police very closely, and I have a lot of respect and admiration for them and the work that they do. I know very well the challenges under which they work, and I'm sure during the course of this, you will reflect on some of those challenges insofar as they affect your work. The band, when they were playing, I thought maybe they should play a little longer, because they do it so well with such finesse, such virtuosity. That you can see the merit. You don't look for it. I haven't seen the commander of the deputy commander. Oh, he's there. I see him. Recognize you, sir. Deputy Commander of the Botswana Defense Force, Major General Joseph Cielo. We appreciate, thank you for your presence here today. The representative from SADC, we appreciate your coming. Representative from the Zimbabwe Republic Police, Dr. B. Dube, thank you for gracing this conference. The President of Business Botswana, I haven't seen him, but I'm told he either is here or will be here. Young fellow, feisty gentleman from Mahalape, who never shies away from expressing his views and expressing them forcefully. That is something I not only appreciate, but I encourage. And I encourage it because sometimes it gets you into trouble. It has gotten me into trouble many times in my life, and I'll share a little of the experiences. The Deputy District Commissioner who introduced the guests, crime prevention coordinators, and those who will take part in the panels that will take place, all the participants at this conference, members of the media here to disseminate accurate, we hope, information about the proceedings. Of course, they will lace it with their own views and interpretations, but at the very minimum, they must also state the facts as they flow at this conference. All the invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. As I stand here, remember that this is my second appearance at a national crime prevention conference held in Botswana, in Gaborone. I attended my first many years back when I was still a lecturer at the University of Botswana. It was held at the then Gaborone San. The commissioner then was Norman Molebuch. I was invited as a discussant to a paper that was presented at that conference by the South African Commissioner of Police, a gentleman called George Fivers. There were many of us discussants. And I discussed after he had presented his paper. And apparently I was just too honest in my interactions and my discussions. Brutally honest. And I used as an illustration then a case that I had just handled together with the now legal advisor to the president, Mr. Tote. I think it was actually the first case we handled, or at least I handled when I left the university. It was a murder case. So I reflected on the facts and the circumstances of this case. And what had happened there was that some gentleman in a fit of rage started beating up everybody in some village in the south of the country. Beating up and injuring people. And one old man took out 40 pula from his pocket, gave it to someone to run to the nearest police station. I think it was, I don't know whether it was Ramatlabama or Good Hope, to go and report and ask the police to come and help. So the gentleman took the 40 pula and ran to go and tell the police that we have a problem here. While he was gone, this chap who was beating everybody up came to the old man, said, "I hear you have sent for the police. Where are they?" The old man said, "I'm not sure where they are, but I hope they are on their way." And this guy said to the old man, "Well, by the time they get here, I would have killed you. So I'm going to kill you." So he attacked the old man, assaulted him viciously. And while pinned to the ground and groping around, the old man picked up a shoe. You know, these nice shoes that the ladies wear, this pointed heel. So he hit the fellow once, actually, somewhere on the head with this thing to try and defend himself. And the guy died. The assailant died. So he was brutalizing everybody, and he wasn't strong enough to withstand this force. So the police, actually the person who went to call the police met some police officers, and he stopped them and said, "We have a problem there." And the police said to him, "We can't help you. We are off to a party. You know, it's almost end of the year. We are celebrating, so we can't help." They went their way. So by the time help arrived, it was too late. The assailant had died. And what happened then? The person was arrested. The old man was arrested, charged with the murder of that individual, and languished in jail for almost 2 years before the time that the matter came up. So when I and my noble and learned friend took up the matter and went to court, It was almost 2 years. This old man had been in jail. And it was a Prodeo case. So we took on this case and we got the old man off. Actually, it was at no case. When a murder ends at no case, you know there was never a murder case in the first place. But that's what happened. And so I reflected on these experiences, trying to advise and deal with some of the challenges that happen. And I called that underreaching as opposed to overreaching police behavior. Underreaching. Not doing anything at all or not doing enough to prevent. So I reflected and raised these issues, and I left the conference. And the following day, I received a call from the organizers saying, well, we have been instructed never to invite you again because you are a very disrespectful guy. You come here and you embarrass us in front of our guests and say things you are not supposed to say. So this is my second. I never attended any. I hope from this one you don't banish me and ban me, and that the commissioner should not take the decision never to invite me. So I'll try and behave today. But I encourage you, ladies and gentlemen, because we represent a new vision of transformative change under this government, we want to create an inclusive and progressive country. We are committed to empowering every citizen to not only pursue their dreams, but to do so in a way that contributes meaningfully to the sustainable development of our nation. Because of this, I encourage you in your deliberations here, without fear, without favor, to discuss the issues that you will confront honestly, openly. And where you have to point accusing fingers at government, at the president, within the four corners of this conference hall, please do so. I give you permission. In fact, I command you. It's a command so that you are certain that you can discuss freely, you can discuss honestly, you can discuss openly, and you can point out shortcomings together with your suggestions as to how these can be addressed and resolved. And when you do so, you must know that there will be no negative consequences upon you. In fact, if you are brutally honest enough and you can provide meaningful solutions, the consequences can only be positive and pleasant for you and for the country. So I encourage you. Our world is now marked by rapid technological advances, evolving social dynamics, meaning, therefore, that the challenges that we face are varied, complex, and ever-changing. Crime now transcends borders. they cross over lawfully or unlawfully, and unlawfully most of the time. It has spilled out of traditional boundaries. It has become more complex. It therefore demands urgent and innovative responses. So we now have to contend, our police have to contend with transnational crime. And we've given them the responsibility to deal with this sophisticated type of crime. We are here under this theme, forging collaborative pathways towards safer communities. I like this theme because it enjoins us not to attempt a blueprint, but to examine pathways. And there are many pathways. We will examine the unique and peculiar challenges that we face. We will look at the historical moment, conjuncture, and we will appreciate, I hope, that these challenges require different types of intervention. And it's not a one-size-fits-all because of the complex nature of the crime that we have to deal with. We have to work together. We have to collaborate. So we must have interagency collaboration in the first instance. The Botswana police must cooperate with the Botswana Defense Force, and they did collaborate over the festive season. And they rolled out Operation Pabalesef. They were visible, and they dealt with most of the intrusive, violent crimes that we often face. But we face another developing type of crime: violence against the person, in instances called gender-based violence. Violence against the person, against women, against children, against men, against discrete and insular groupings in our society. This is a very complex species of crime. It is complex because it originates and resides in the most private estuaries, in the private spaces, where the Constitution, I think it's Section 9, assures people of their privacy. And the state is precluded from invading unduly the citizens' privacy. And so against this preclusion, this prohibition against intrusion into the private space, crime is located there. It resides, it festers, it develops, it grows, and lives are lost. People are injured physically and emotionally. How do we police these private estuaries? This is a difficult question. And I was asking somebody the other day, what do we need to do? Should we now have a police going into every household and interviewing? Have you been assaulted recently? Have you been threatened in any way with assault? tell us, give us your recent conversation with your spouse. What shape did it take? Did you detect any threat? Did he raise your voice? Did she threaten to throw boiling water at what? Tell us. Can we do that? Would it help us if we did? Also appreciating that those who are victims of abuse in this manner are not quick to report, to share. They conceal. Sometimes because it is embarrassing. It humiliates them. It violates their dignity, and they don't want to tell other people their ordeals. And so this type of crime grows because there's very little that can be done. It is not easy to detect. There's no tripwire, there's no early warning. We only see it when it erupts in a loss of life or an injury. How do we deal with this? I hope you will wrestle with some of these and help us with ideas. But that you will do so in partnership and collaboration, which is what we are here also to forge, these partnerships. And these partnerships must now involve partnerships with communities and with individuals themselves. Our people need to trust us, trust the police enough to be able to confide. And some of the people in whom couples in particular feel freer to confide are the clergy, baruti. They get to interact with people, they counsel them. In many instances, they are the first port of call, and they keep it confidential because that's how they operate sometimes. And they try and minister and tell the couples, please don't fight, pray for them. When some of these emotional issues erupt after they have left the counseling session, the blood boils, life can be lost. How do we deal with these issues? And so it seems that we must appreciate the role of the clergy, baruti, and other counselors in the communities, and maybe even capacitate them to more effectively carry out these roles. And also capacitate them to become the early warning system. Not so that people may be arrested, but maybe so that more structured interventions can then be deployed in relation to this particular situation. We are trying to find pathways. There's no blueprint. And this is what our theme says to us. We are raising all these things within the broader context of respecting and upholding human rights. That is why I raise the right to privacy. It is a right we must respect. But within the boundaries of that right to privacy, other people's rights get violated. So how do we then find a justifiable entry point into the private space to police it, to regulate it, and ensure people's safety? It's a very complex engagement. But I appreciate the work that is being done by the police. And the police themselves get exposed to trauma. They are the first responders in many of these instances. They come in, they carry the dead body. What happens to them? They are human beings as well. Is there anything that we do about them? Are their sensibilities, their sensitivities not becoming numbed by these experiences? Is their humanity not being gradually eroded by these experiences that they go through? What do we do about them? Do these experiences not then predispose them to acting without regard for human life and human safety? That they've seen so many dead bodies that another dead body doesn't mean anything. We need to consider these issues. And when we consider them, it may become necessary to point out shortcomings in the systems that we use now. You might have to say privately, government is failing to take care of the following issues. When you get to that point, please confront the situation honestly and deal with it and give us durable solutions, pathways towards resolving these matters. Only if we do that would we move in the direction of making our people feel safe, certainly safer than they have been, safer than they are presently. And then the other issue is these ritual killings. The Chief Justice raised this matter poignantly during his address at the opening of the legal year. And here, the focal group are the traditional healers. We need to have a conversation with them. We need to have a conversation with the traditional healers for two primary reasons, in my view. You'll raise other reasons. The first is that they are the ones sometimes who tell individuals that their problems can only be solved if they sacrifice a fellow human being. We need to confront this situation. We need to sensitize them as well, enlighten them. If we ignore them and we'll run around looking for people, we are ignoring the fountain source of the problem. So we need to engage with them as a possible vector. But we also need to deal with them for the second primary reason, which is that individuals who commit crime, because of these traditional beliefs to which people are entitled, then go to some traditional doctor to cleanse themselves and to fortify themselves against the investigative process. And so they confess. They tell the traditional doctor, I've killed somebody. This is how I did it. And the police officer, the traditional healer gives them herbs and all sorts of other concoctions to fortify themselves against the legal process. We need to engage in conversations with them so that they can also become the tripwire, the early warning system for the justice process. Multiple pathways as we wrestle with the causes and consequences of crime, sophisticated, complicated crimes. And so I challenge all of us today to reflect candidly, honestly, and I've said brutally honestly on these issues, appreciating all the while that we must uphold, respect, enforce the fundamental rights of each and every citizen as enshrined in the Constitution. The collaborations must be with communities, with individuals, with groupings in society, interagency, both within country and in collaboration with other law enforcement agencies in neighboring countries, South Africa in the main, Zimbabwe, and the other countries, Namibia, Zambia. We need to work together to forge these collaborations, map out these pathways, and try and get to the source and origin of the problems that we face. And so I have the greatest pleasure in wishing you very fruitful, very honest, brutally honest engagements over the next 2 days. I have commanded that you must engage in such brutally honest conversations without fear and without favor. And so the police are here to ensure that I hope they don't arrest you and say, he's not being honest enough. But I trust that you will engage honestly and critique every policy, every piece of legislation, every practice which is an obstacle to the proper detection of crime. Let's look at it together. And so I thank you, and I have the greatest honor in declaring your conference officially open. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Rata kopa gore o ska nama o hulugile serepudi mototegita utona rata kopa gore o ska nama hulugile serepudi mongame jaaka ha ke kopa the Minister for State President Honorable Moeti Muhasale, the Commissioner of Police Commissioner Diana Marate go telaka kwano go ta go rola se ba se tshotseng bemba mme ke kopa le gofi la mahoko a konokono a ga mototegita utona batsadi.
Advocate Duma Boko ana tswa gone mo seraleng a buletse dintsi mo mabapi le tsone tsa gore ha re bua ka seemo sa itshireletso mo lehatsheng sabe sa mongwe le mongwe ba akaretsa mapodisi le makalana a leng gore a dira le merero ya tsa itshireletso le twantsho borukuti ka maemo a one a bua le gone maikemisetso kgotsa maikarabelo on individuals and communities across the value chain of development as well. That I felt was also very interesting. The welfare of police officers, the first responders, ko tiragalong ya borukuti bokatswa ile bopehela jweleng gore bodiragetse ke bona ba ileng gore ba hong ke bone ba ileng gore ba maemo a ntlha go dira se ileng gore se tshwanetse gore se dirwe mo nakong eo go itebaganya le molato ileng gore o ka tswa o diragetse mo nakong eo mme le bone a bua jalo gone gore they also are human beings ka jalo le bone ba ileng gore ba tsentse re le bone ba nne le the experiences di lebelwe ka mokgwa ileng gore o hapegile gore le bone their safety it's way into consideration, which I felt was very a valid point and a different perspective. Re beletse gone gore tota tiro ileng gore dirwa ke ba sepodisi yone ya law enforcement e bokete bokahe le bone e tlhokagala maikarabelo a ileng gore a bogolo bokahe. He spoke to different partnerships, the value of partnerships, whether it's at community level, across all sectors of development, individuals as well, le bone ba tshwantsore e le gone gore ba tsaya jalo maikarabelo e se tiro e leng gore e dirwa hela ke ba sepodisi mme mo nakong ya gompieno ke na le jalo me Selina Omphile go tswa gone ko sepodising sa Botswana gongwe me Omphile a re bue ka gone gore tota tautona o buile go le gontsi a bua ka maikaelelo the safety and security of the nation across it's stuck out for you so go le bogolo re lebeletse gone maikaelelo le maitamo a lona le ba sepodisi sa Botswana.
Sorry ke botho no re ke ntse se
a ga re bua ka se leng gore tautona na se bua mo nakong ya gompieno o buile dilo tse dintsi a bua ka maikaelelo a puso maikaelelo a sepodisi kgotsa makalana e leng gore a dira le tsa itshireletso ke eng se e leng gore gongwe se go le bogolo a re lebeletse maikaelelo a lona le tebelopele ya sepodisi ka kakaretso se e leng gore gongwe it stood out for you le ba sepodisi e leng gore gongwe le ka le itama le go heta a go se tsweledisa kgotsa go sa atolosa
ma tota hela se e leng gore le ba sepodisi kana sepodisi se ha a service. They are a service delivery organization. Mekana service e kalwa ka feedback e o e tsang mo bathong. Jaanong se eleng gore re le sepodisi re se ikaeletse ha re tsa gompieno re tsa conference re bata gone gore batho ba te ba bua le rona batho ba te ba re he feedback batho ba te ba khone gore ba re bolelele diphatha tse eleng gore bone le setšhaba se eleng gore ke sone se se receivang our service ba di bona kana ke re wena o ta dira selo ro iphelleditse ntse ko motho mwene o bona ile gore kana selo se o se dirang seo kana yone the service that you are providing to that person so our whole intention ke gone gore let us collaborate, let us have people, let us have conversations that will make us improve our service delivery.
Service delivery, a very important aspect of even the safety of police officers as well.
Yes.
Le nulufile go heta le motho mo tshwanang le wena hela jalo but you are as equally human as the next person. Yes, you got training to do the job that you're doing, but also you are a human being. So he touched on the human aspect of things gore safety ya e leng gore through law enforcement like diragatsa more communities le lona you ought to be given the same level of safety. What are your thoughts ka khanyo?
Very true. So kana ha jaaka tautona sa tswa go bua tiro ya sepodisi na le dikgwetho ya ka hela hana bua o khona gore le podisi ha le ile go attend e be ile gore ke lone le heta le thaselwa. So and another thing that he talked about is that police officers are traumatized through these incidents. Mapodisi ba bona dilo tse di tshosang tota and well-being ya bone, their mental health needs to be considered. So I think it's one of the things tse leng gore tautona o sa gateletse gone gore ke maitamo le maikarabelo a rona re le setšhaba gore re protect re sireletse mapodisi a rona jaaka ke bua dikgang tse dintsenyana di kgona gore le bone di heletsegela ka tautona na bua re kana gongwe e ka re ko bohelong maduo a dilo tse mapodisi ba di bonang mme ba tswela ba di bona re le setšhaba re ba exposure to them e be le gore kgantele re dila with an insensitive police. So a re boneng gore mapodisi by all means are taken care of. Mme mmare le sepodisi hela gongwe ke a kgele go gore re na le our unit e leng gore ke yone e lebeletseng the mental, the welfare, the well-being of police officers. Mapodisi ba counselwa from time to time when they are exposed to such traumatic incidents. Me hela ka tautona bua ga re nne re ntse ro oketsa jalo.
Le rona as the public re tlhaloganye gone gore tota you are equally human as well, because I think in as far as we expect so much from you re na le go akanya gore gore le polisi le one tawe ke akanya gore le o motho le five le one.
Exactly.
Let's go back to maybe just reflecting on even what the police commissioner said. Ona ha di patisiso di tsekatso tse le gore di dirilwe ha go lebeletse the reports tse le gore in terms of the escalation or the decline of crime, ha lebeletse 2024 le 2025 e ka re go nnile le phokotsego ke dihi gongwe ha le gore re ka dinako le hale tse leng gore ka re gongwe le itemogetse le ba sepodisa gore nya mme ka re di hokotsegile tse leng gore ka re di oketsegile ke dihi.
Ha re bua ka melato e leng gore re le ba sepodisi re itebagantse lone re re ke a ke re priority crimes. Melato e leng gore ke yone e tsenyang letshogo le e leng gore le lentsi mo matshelong a batho. Melato e tshwanang bo robbery ke melato e leng gore ile ko tlase mme ha re tsaye e leng gore ile go godimo ke ra ke hese ka isa e ileng ko tlase le go godimo e ileng ko tlase mare bona di khansa bo gender based violence tse e leng gore ke bo murder, ke bo threats to kill, ke bo defilement of children under 18 re bona mmatsone di goletsega ke sone se leng gore there is that difference
gongwe ha re lebella dikgang tsone tsa in terms of the way ke ka re ba dira melato gongwe ba tsewang ka teng ha ile gore gongwe ba tshwere mo melatong go le gantsi the public ena le go akanya gore gongwe the execution go tsaya go tshwarwa gongwe nako tse dingwe re ka re it's too lenient, nako tse dingwe re akanya gore it's too aggressive. Re ha kae in terms of even the ethics tsa sepodisi gore lona le ipeile ha kae, what is your mandate in terms of go tshwara le bone ba ileng gore gatte they are innocent until proven guilty?
Makana ga ke re kana tota hela rona re le ba sepodisi re laolwa ke molao re ira se molao re se dire jaanong a ke re wena e tare ha go diragaletse o tata o ha maikutlo a gago ka ha o ka hang ka teng mme hela se nka se go thomamisetsa mma ke gore mapodisi ha ba tshwara motho a o molato kana ga e tare ko morago a ba exonerate go ithalelo gore ga a molato mapodisi will do it diligently according to the law.
All right. Mo tsitsila gompeno re soletse go le gontsi beyond the official speeches ra itse re go a go nna le dipuisano kgotsa di-panel discussion ka go harologana ke di dikgang tse e leng gore gongwe re ka di sologela from members of the community gore le bone gongwe ba ka tsaya karolo gongwe ba lebeletse kgotsa ba nna le dipotso di-solution tse e leng gore gongwe di ka nna teng ke di dikgang tse e leng gore gongwe ba ka sologela go ka utwa ka tsone ka gore ebile tautona bua le gone gore a go nne le honest conversation.
Yes. Kana ha re bua ka borukuthi re bua ka dikgang tse e leng gore di diragala mo go rona mo malwapeng gore borukuthi bo simolola mo lwapeng bo jwalelega to a community bo helletsa bo jwalelega to a nation. Jaanong se re yang go se bua tsatsi eno re na le di-discussion re na le di-panel discussions tse e leng gore we have taken different representatives of different sectors of the society ba e leng gore ba deliberate on these discussions gone gore rona re le community ra re go diragale eng ebile keng ha re bona go diragala jaaka go diragala keng ha re bona gongwe borre ke he sekai ba ileng gore ke bone ba ileng gore ba tshwantse gore bo ba sireletsa malwapa jaaka hela tautona na ibua gore you talk about a private space that is today re bona nyalo gore it's violated me violate ke beng ba yone ba ileng gore they are supposed to protect it even more ya no ke tsone di khanseleng gore rona ra go bua one of the topics ke yone e buang ka community based approaches to crime prevention go rona re le setšhaba in our individuality in our different sectors and groupings ra re tota re bona gore re ya kae as communities because ha re tsahela bogologolo kana setšhaba ke re se bogologolo ne go itse gore ha ga mma se mamang gona le sisinyi seo sa tsaba se usiwa khoteng gwa go ba ka ngwa semo things have now changed so we want to take ourselves back to say let us look at these issues and discuss them and come up with a way forward sa bohelo ke gona gore another discussion that we are going to have ke yone leng gore ibua ka strengthening partnerships gore wena as an individual o tsena ha kae kana wena as a certain sector o ipona o tsena ha kae mo tomagano le tirisanyo ya rona re le mapodisi le sone setšhaba gore re bone gore tšhaba ya rona e sireletsegile
ha re bua ka tsone the partnerships tse le bileng ka tsone go na le yone the community policing and then cluster policing gongwe le re di kgawaganyetse re di thaloganye ka bokete gore tota di mo magana ha kae engwe lengwe ya tsone e bereka jang towards the collective of establishing yone maikaelelo a lona
community policing ke yone mmamang e leng gore kana community policing re raya setšhaba gore re raya a community
gongwe me omphile ke sa go tsena ganong gongwe mo nakong ya gompeno re he jalo tona o taba tsena mo seraleng gompeno a bua gongwe re ta boela gape mo puisanong ya rona
dumelang betso ke tsa gore re utlwile molaetsa ga re ntuntu se thubege we are gathered here today go aga ntu mme ke tsa re ntu e ga ena go thubega Advocate Duma Boko, President of the Republic of Botswana, Your Lordship, Re Gaopalelwe, Gaolapele, sorry. Ke na le bothata le go nna ke bitsa leina la ga Re ke togetso. Last time I ke le kwa ga re le kwa re laela mme Machepe. Ke ha ke itebetse bile ke mmitsa ke re G. Jaanong go nna le go la mmogo le bitsana ka maina la reta ga mo wa itebana. Your Lordship, Re Gaolapele Ketogetso, Chief Justice of the Republic of Botswana, Speaker of the National Assembly, Re Thapelo Korapetsi, and let me also acknowledge the presence of Re Lot Moroka, Justice of the High Court of Botswana, all ministers here present, Mahosi Oteahano, as led by Re Malope, Kosi Malope Wabubedi, His Worship Warabile Senyolo Nyolo Motaleng, Mayor of Gaborone City Council, Mayor Emma Peluete, Permanent Secretary to the President, the Deputy Permanent Secretary to the President Mabokole, Commissioner Mayor Diana Marate, Commissioner of Police, all Permanent Secretaries and Director Generals here present, heads of parastatal organizations, the advisors to the President, Deputy Commander of BDF, Major General Seelo, Commissioner Anthony Mukento, Botswana Prison Services, Baruti, senior government officials, crime prevention coordinators, conference participants, members of the Fourth Estate, the media, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, dumelang. Ha go na le mongwe yo ke mo togetseng ke kopa ra nkinele matsogo dia nkinele di atametseng. I am greatly honored to propose a vote of thanks during the official opening of this strategic conference delivered under the theme Forging Collaborative Pathways Towards Safer Communities. The theme confirms the importance of fostering the spirit of collective responsibility and mutuality towards achieving a common goal. Mr. President, we are grateful for the opportunity to interact with you and benefit directly from your wisdom and visionary leadership as we transition into a new Botswana for all Botswana. Your presence here today affirms your inclination towards a consultative process and the love you have for Botswana and the entire human race. We are really honored, Mr. President. You have articulated your vision, painted our desired Botswana, and outlined your expectation on us in order to achieve our dream within a safe and secure environment. We are in turn excited to rally behind you collectively contribute to safer communities as we progressively pursue improved community lifestyles and a thriving economy for our collective benefit. Therefore, Mr. President, I wish to assure you of a productive engagement and the formulation of an effective and credible crime management product as we continue to align and solidify our efforts towards the effective delivery of the people's mandate. Director of Ceremonies, I wish to take this opportunity to acknowledge and appreciate in a special way the commitment of Botswana Police Services in fostering strategic collaborations and the formulation of effective strategies in the delivery of its statutory mandate under the talented leadership of Commissioner Diana Marate. I urge you to continue investing in meaningful partnerships for effective policing. Ladies and gentlemen, it takes a lot of commitment, resilience, and courage to organize an event of this magnitude. Hence, I extend my sincere gratitude to all the people who contributed in their diverse ways towards the success of this conference. Allow me in the same vein to extend my gratitude to thank the conference attendants, not forgetting the facilitators for their attendance. As a team, our overall success depends on the effectiveness and focus of our engagement as guided by the crafted objectives and conference theme. Let us brace ourselves to learn, accommodate change, and actually become drivers of change in our society. Mr. President, distinguished audience, as I conclude, allow me to once again salute the people and stakeholders who diligently progress the community policing business and complement the entire criminal justice system to the benefit of Botswana. We thank you in earnest and for your commitment and invaluable contributions towards building a new Botswana. I thank you all for your attention. Pula.
And thank you very much to Honorable Mohasa, and this is the Minister for State, President, Host Minister, for your compelling and heartfelt vote of thanks this morning, as well as the support that you afford the Botswana Police Service as they execute the mandate. But so we mentioned at the beginning that we're streaming this occasion live on several online.
And of course, that was the Minister for State, President, Moeti Mohasa, bringing to the close the official proceedings of the opening of this conference that also speaks to issues around crime prevention as well as the safety and security of the nation. And of course, we will right now just wrap up, but with one parting word from the Senior Superintendent that we were speaking to, Ms. Selina Omphile, who of course is from the Botswana Police Service. Me Omphile, nako ke yone leng gore ga ya re masente me gongwe re wetse pisone ya rona ka mahoko a bohelo re lebeletse gone gore tauto no bile go le gontsi re mohasa le no bile go le gontsi ga mmogo le me mara le bona ba buile go le gontsi tota ebile le lentsi le lengwe ha re bua ka unity, ha re bua ka partnerships e le gone tse leng gore tota di botlhoka thata go gogela pele mmogo go ngama go kwa lona bogelo le ba sepodisi pele ga re kgaogana le lona.
Mma ke go gone go kopa hela go konetella gore wena o le Motswana ha o leng teng go sa kgathalesego gore o mo o ha kae so itshwaraganye le dikgang tsa crime prevention gore re buisetse le dula le leng gore Botswana itsewe ka lone. Like I'm saying, whether you are youth, whether you are a member of a certain sector, Let us find somewhere for our unity and our safety. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mpile. And of course, that was Mayor Serena Umpile from the Public Relations Office at the Botswana Police Service. And of course, she is the senior superintendent there. This is how we wrap up this conversation for now. Panel discussion that you can look out for after the short break you will take. I do believe that it will be exciting and insightful conversations you can look out for pertaining to issues of safety and security. We do expect that there will be panel discussions, wide range of issues. They will touch on security issues. They will touch on various issues. Safety and security. 2036 as per her vision. A safe and secure nation. And as the president put it, he said that he called for conversations. There'll be hard and very honest conversations. So I do believe those panel discussions will open up a window or of opportunity for discussions to fill in the gaps or talk about the apparent challenges as well as come up with towards the whole of bringing about and security.
Agencies called on to devise unique pathways to tackle complex crimes. Chobe District Council embraces government decision to relocate health services to the councils. And in the world of sports fraternity advised to consider a paradigm shift on ways of doing and running sport locally. A very good morning. These are your BTV News at 10 a.m. I'm Lucia Ramasu. President Advocate Duma Boko calls on the Botswana Police Service and all stakeholders to forge partnerships that will help to examine and seek unique pathways to tackle complex crimes, including gender-based violence. The president said this when officially opening the 2025 National Conference on Crime Prevention this morning in Gaborone.
We will appreciate, I hope, that these challenges require different types of intervention, and it's not a one-size-fits-all because of the complex nature of the crime that we have to deal with. We have to work together, we have to collaborate. So we must have interagency collaboration in the first instance. The Botswana Police must cooperate with the Botswana Defence Force, and they did collaborate over the festive